Christopher Hitchens, 5 minutes.
Oh, I had no idea. That was the appeal to the cerebellum, that last bit, was it? Well, okay, you'll forgive me for pausing. I was waiting for the next shoe to drop. Now, I'm beginning to find myself a little overwhelmed by Mr. Galloway's compliments. I don't know where he keeps coming up with them from. It's true he did once say of me that I was the greatest living English man of letters and polemicist, and I was grateful. I could have wished it wasn't published in a newspaper nostalgic for the rule of Brezhnev, but you take your compliments where you can, and I might add that if anything ignited the hatred and violence that has so come to preoccupy us in the Muslim world, I think the invasion by the Soviet Union of the entire territory of Afghanistan, its virtual annexation as a country, and the certifiable and provable massacre of many tens of thousands of Afghans, as well as the insult to their religion, is probably a better candidate than the holding of a free election in Iraq as a provocation. But you see, there will always be bloody fools who think, yes, of course, now you look at the situation in Gaza, it makes perfect sense to commandeer a plane load of civilians and smash it into a building full of civilians. Why hadn't I thought of that before? I think you may have noticed, Mr. Galloway, that you picked the wrong city to say that in. And arguably the wrong month as well, because some of us are still mourning. Some of us are still mourning. Please. Some of us are still mourning, among other things, the very large number of Americans of all faiths, including very many Arabs and Muslims, who were killed in that disgusting atrocity. And when you say, if we don't mend our ways, this will happen to us again, if you weren't an ally of Saddam Hussein and Bashar al-Assad, if you had not been an ally of the preachers of hatred and subversion in the region, how dare you say the United States supports the Assad regime in Syria? But it seems to me bizarre that someone should say, fresh from the podium with Bashar al-Assad, that the United States supports all the dictators in the region. What is this? We have succeeded in gaining some part of the recovery of the autonomy of Lebanon, which was under a most corrupt and brutal and illegal Syrian occupation. And the leader of the Lebanon Socialist Party, whose father was murdered by Assad, and the leader of the Lebanese Communist Party, whose father was murdered last month by this Assad, and all others hailed it as a liberation. And you say it's like the French taking over Algeria. This is Piffle, sinister Piffle. The French claim in Algeria was that Algeria was part of France, Algérie française. We do not say Iraq américain, Iraq anglais. We don't, let alone écossais, which it might be if certain numbers of... No, I shall block that metaphor, excuse me. I came very close there. It's also, I think, a bit much to be told that these Al-Qaeda chaps, these killers and sadists and nihilists and producers of indiscriminate explosions, wouldn't be this way if we weren't so mean to them. Don't mess around with these people. Don't make them angry. Don't make them mean. It's your fault. Now, this is masochism, but it's being offered to you by sadists. And someone who hasn't answered my question, my challenge. I said in round terms when I opened that this is not just a matter of which of us can be the rudest, because I already conceded that to Mr. Galloway, or which of us can be the most cerebral, because he's already conceded that to me. But I said that there's a further grudge between us, which is this. I say that Mr. Galloway discussed the allocation of oil for food profits that stole directly from the Iraqi people and it helped to corrupt the scheme and program of the United Nations. I say he discussed that personally with Mr. Tariq Aziz in Baghdad at least once. And if he will put his name to an affidavit that formally denies that, we can have done with this business. But if he does not, it's going to haunt him on every stop of this tour and all the way back to England and everywhere he goes to raise the flag of jihad in the Middle East. This I promise you. I promise you.